Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're halfway through our 10-hour drive, which is the most boring part of this whole tour. So I finally have a moment to do these videos. So first of all, thank you so much for your support this week. It was a grind. It was literally the hardest 4 patterns we bowled on all season, which it's the US Women's Open, so we can expect that. And to be honest, I really like that, and I'll do a recap after you watch my 24 games of match play. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe and stick around and find out how grueling it really was.
Fifth frame to go by 12. Has it. Really good look.
Talk about nice ball roll. Watch this. And she get it out of her hand nice. 2019 PWBA Rookie of the Year. Slaps that 10 out nicely.
Her right frame to go back in front. Responds. Flirting with disaster again.
Wood would be a great spot.
Is it me? Or is her?
that pattern was very low volume. So I had to make several surface adjustments, thanks to my husband and our ball reps, throughout the 3 blocks, 3 8 games. So it was 8 games, take a break, 8 games, take a break, 8 games. And I want to say I bowled terrible in the first 8 games after bowling amazing in the morning block to make the top 24 in match play for a couple of reasons. The first reason, Sun Valley Lanes, if you've never been there, is an amazing bowling center. And they have these really cool virtual masking units. So they had this awesome idea to put our match play, our names and our score up on the masking units, kind of like what they do on TV. And the lights were so bright that they were reflecting on the arrows. And I was targeting between 15 and 20, and my spare shots, if you watch my spare video, everything goes through 20, the middle arrow. And so on both lanes, I couldn't see my target until my 3rd step, until it came into view. And so I just felt like I was glitching every 3rd step and trying to, make my first shot in the right trajectory and then to make my spares. So it just didn't feel like I adjusted until game 4 or 5 even, so halfway through that block. And then, but I was really, the second thing that happened was a couple of my balls were accidentally grabbed into my bag and the surfaces were altered. And it was an honest mistake and I tried to get over it, but I had such a good look on the pattern in the first block that I was really irritated by that, because those are 2 was Turbo X and the Crown Victory, and those are 2 balls that I used in the first block. So I had to figure out like a way to adjust them really fast in the little warm-up range session, and then try to get that out of my mind in that block, and that was really challenging. So not only were we bowling on the hardest pattern of the year, I had to deal with those 2 distractions. So I did my best, and the next morning with a conversation with my husband, and we came up with a game plan, changed some surfaces again, only bowled like 25 pins better, had a couple 130 games. The other thing about this bowling center and that pattern is that from the low end, like 9 and 10 to 31 and 32 was completely different. And that's so, and just like from a competitor and being transparent, it's annoying to have to go to another pair and have a completely different look and switch balls immediately. And maybe I was the only one that was dealing with that, because I talked to Wei New Fen, who was in the top 5 practically the whole time, and she was like, oh yeah, I had that problem when I wasn't in the right ball. I'm like, oh okay, so I'm just like fishing through all these balls. Clearly she had the best look. But anyway, the 3rd block, so the afternoon, the last 8 games, turned around. I went 117. Anyway, over 100 over, plus 100 in that last block, plus I won 3 games or so. So I moved up from pretty much the bottom, 24th spot, to 17th. And that felt really good to just find a better look, get 9, make my spares, and get a couple strikes in a row to move up a little bit in the standings. It is also a double points event, so that helps because there's a tour championship at the end of the tour, and that's the top 24 points. So that's a big goal of mine. The last thing I want to say about this US Women's Open pattern, and you've seen it a couple times on the screen, is because the dry boards were 7 and 8, you could not hit board 7 or 8, or it would go through the face or even run away Brooklyn. You had to hit inside, so you had to hit 10. Sometimes if you hit 9, you would wash out. And then if you hit right of 7 or 8, you'd get 3 off the right. And then of course if you missed, like if you hit 11, you would go through the face, and if you hit 12, you go run away Brooklyn. So I was actually having a conversation with Liz Johnson while I was bowling with her, and she was saying that she was telling the girls back home that you were splitting boards down lane. and it was one of the hardest patterns she's bowled on too. And by the way, I'm like 0-3 against Liz Johnson. I had to bowl against her at the US Women's Open in match play, lost, and then lost in the finals on the TV show in 2017, and then again didn't win this year. So maybe next time. But anyway, thank you so much for your support again. I appreciate it, and it helps with creating these videos and taking the time, and I hope it's helping you too. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week because we do this every week.